Children of the night, what music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
And we're live. Welcome back to Final Guys, everyone. Your favorite weekly horror podcast where nobody can speak. One of us is usually drunk, and I don't know. That's all I got. I did not prepare an intro. I am Jason Brant, joined as always by Jack Campisi.
Hola, ¿qué tal, amigo?
And we are missing Hunter Shea. Yay, everybody.
If this movie wasn't caused to dance, I think that news is.
That's very true. I'm very happy right now. So, he's running a little late. He should jump in here with us soon. We'll find out.
I gotta be honest. I love when he's not here. However, I really do want to hear what he thinks about this movie, so I hope he makes it.
I'm the same way because I can never predict what he's going to think of something. So I'm kind of interested to hear what he has to say. Before we jump into the news, we do a little drinking rules thing every week. If you hear any of these words, take a drink of your favorite alcoholic beverage, or not if you're like everyone in the chat. Jack, your words are peel, pet, and morettes. Moron's words are long, Italian, and Johnson.
Well, if he's talking about me, I guess.
That was well done. My words are dancing, witch, and orgy. And the bonus
Which
words
is
are
pretty much your everyday vocabulary.
Yeah, I say that a lot. The bonus words are Dakota, Bones, and Tilda. And before we jump into it, if I sound like shit still, I'm still getting over the freaking flu. So I don't know how long my voice will last. We'll find out. I'm actually surprised I made it through all of last week's episode, but I had to shit on Captain Marvel, so I just had to make it. So I pushed through. Okay, you ready for some news?
Yeah, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, the big good news of the week is that Disney has reinstated James Gunn for Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Amazing. Finally. I was starting to think they weren't going to do it.
Well, they said flat out they weren't gonna. There had been petitions and people going crazy, and they, the Feige from Marvel had said he wanted it, the cast and everything, but Disney, the top guy at Disney, was like, no. Then I guess they never really approached anybody else about doing it, and they're saying that the way that he sort of carried himself since they let him go convinced them to bring him back. Now, in the meantime, he signed on to write and direct the reboot of Suicide Squad, which they're already rebooting.
Really?
Squad.
I didn't know it was a reboot.
They're calling it's not a sequel, it's a reboot. Idris Elba is going to be Deadshot instead of Will Smith.
Wow.
There's going to be different characters, but the only thing is that Margot Robbie's probably going to come back. So I'm like, so wait, is it a totally different universe, or is it the same? Very vague as to what's going on, but I'm personally so happy about this James Gunn, not only because he's the only guy you really want to see do a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but I'm just relieved that finally, in this age of overreacting to Twitter and old jokes, that finally we've come around to giving somebody a second chance and kind of not dwelling on little things from the past.
I completely agree. He was fired kind of at the pinnacle of this outrage culture bullshit that's been happening. And I don't understand why anybody freaked out over it, but I'm just glad he's back. And hopefully this means the tide is turning on all this bullshit and we can stop going back through everyone's 10-year-old jokes to see what is still relevant and what's no longer okay. So
it's ridiculous.
Yay. And the guy makes great movies. We need more of him, not less of him. So bring it on.
It kind of goes to show you, like, when the athlete gets caught doing steroids, if they just, like, Andy Pettit just came right out and said, yep, I did it, it was a mistake, and everybody just like, okay, and moved on. Mm-hmm. And then the guys who like, well, I don't know how it got there, whatever, there's always a cloud over them.
I was hacked.
Just own it. Yeah. Own it. And people, 9 times out of 10 will move on. So
yeah,
I'm very happy there.
It seems one of the biggest things you can do is don't apologize too on some of this stuff, because man, once you do that, they're on your ass forever. So I don't know. I'm just glad he's back. Maybe we can get a good Guardians now.
Yeah,
And,
although now you probably won't see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 till like 2020 or something like that. So
had he
but that-
turned in a script for it before he got fired?
So he wrote it. He wrote part 3, and then they weren't sure if they were going to use his script or not. Batista, who originally was like, I want out if there's no James Gunn, basically said, I'm out if you don't use his script.
Okay.
Then they said they were going to use his script, and now they're going to use everything. So
Good. Well, maybe this means it can start up a little faster since the script's already in, and I don't know. We'll see.
It'll be interesting because after this end game, you've got the Spider-Man movie. Then I think there's going to be like a 10-month break before you see anything.
Okay.
Which is probably good to kind of let things settle from that huge kind of closure. And then we'll see what's next for the Marvel Universe. But it's much better with James Gunn in it.
It is.
All right. Other great news, particularly to people who like our podcast. Mark Duplass and his partner Patrick Bryce are very excited about Creep 3.
I can do tubby time with Hunter, who's here.
Did anybody order a long Italian Johnson?
Oh, just in time for the Tubby Time news.
My God, I feel like I should be wearing a peach fuzz mask right now.
We were just talking about how much we missed you.
I'm sure you weren't, but that's fine.
We don't miss you, but we do want to hear what you think of Suspiria, so we're happy to.
There we go. I'm ready.
Well, I was just telling Jason that Mark Duplass they finally came up with a good idea for Creep 3, so it's in the works. So they don't have a date yet or anything like that, but I guess they had been stalled, but they got the idea. They know what they're going to do, so they're writing it now. So
I bet he could write and film that in 3 weeks.
Yes.
Well, that's the beauty of those movies, right?
Totally.
Okay,
All he's got to do is manscape his junk a little bit for his close up, and he's all set.
I need a new Merkin.
Somebody fill the tub.
What is shot faster, the Bad Ben series or the Creep series?
Well,
probably Creep because he's got a crew that can.
I think so too. Bad Ben's up there. Nigel's up there putting the cameras in the corners and getting his iPad out to film.
I still didn't watch the last one. I don't know. I feel wrong. I should be.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
I don't know.
6 is coming out soon. Come on, man.
Jesus. This guy's amazing.
You can do anything, kids.
He's the Howard Hawks of home horror.
Okay, I'm going to throw this out there, but we don't have to dwell on it. Alison Brie and Dan Stevens are going to star in a movie called The Rental that Dave Franco is going to direct. Now, Dave Franco is lucky enough to be married to Alison Brie.
Yeah, that helps.
It's a character-driven horror thriller about 2 couples who rent a vacation home for what should be a celebratory weekend getaway. And I guess horror ensues. I don't know. Dan Stevens, Alison Brie. I like when this level of people get involved in horror movies. These are quality actors with senses of humor. So
yeah, she's great in Glow.
There's a movie with her and Aubrey Plaza. I can't remember what that gets called, where they play nuns. That is whacked.
Oh my God.
I have no idea what that is.
It's called the Little Hours or something like that. It's weird. James Franco's in it too. Not James Franco. Dave Franco's in it. Actually,
one of the Francos. Francisco Franco.
Top story tonight. And the last piece of news is really just an observation. Pet Sematary screened at South by Southwest, and it is getting rave reviews from the people who saw it.
Oh.
And they're saying sober? I don't think so. I've been to South by and I wasn't. So
that's why I question any opinions that come out of there.
But I was at the tech South by. I wasn't at the movie one. I can't even imagine how bombed I'd be at the movie one because I wouldn't have to be like working.
Right.
So here's the thing. I felt that the trailer gave away a lot. And the key thing I saw were a few people said, if you think the trailer gives everything away, you're wrong. I guess the third act is bananas. Bananas.
Okay. Thank you, Gwen. Maybe this time they'll show the kid get splattered.
Oh
So
God.
this is where we're at as a society.
There's 6 different angles, and it's just
Yeah.
like one after the other.
Make the kid explode.
Oh, it'd be like that dude in RoboCop who had the toxic sludge on him.
Greatest.
Explodes on the windshield.
That was just on yesterday.
It's a good movie. It's a great
It's a
movie.
good,
Have
good
you
hangover movie.
Have you seen the RoboCop KFC commercials?
Yes.
No.
That's weird.
Peter Weller's in them in the RoboCop thing with Colonel Sanders stuff on top of it. It's beautiful. They're on YouTube. Look them up. They're great.
Okay, that's weird.
All right, that's all the news is fit to print. Let's go to the next thing.
Whatever that is.
All right, bring on the next thing.
We have such sights to show you.
Hunter, since you have barely spoken, what is the next thing you watched?
I said to my wife, what do you want to watch? Go look on demand. We'll pay money. We will pay money to go watch whatever you want to watch. And she says, I want to see The Possession of Hannah Grace.
Oh no, not another possession movie.
I'm thinking, all right, I'm taking this one in the Nards for the team, but whatever, that's fine. It's what the missus wanted. So I'm expecting absolute like crap. Like, yeah, I don't want to see another possession movie.
No, I hate them.
Unless it's Head Full of Ghosts. Like, I'll watch that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, actually.
Well, this movie, it starts out at the tail end of The Exorcism. So you've already got the girl on the bed doing all the fun Linda Blair shit. But she also has like the powers of an X-Men.
Oh, God.
She's got some real telekinetic kind of crazy powers. So it ends naturally with people dying and thrown out windows and impaled by things on walls. And then we cut to Shay Mitchell, who my kids say is like a big thing. She's on Pretty Little Liars.
Mitchell is a smoke show. I can tell you that much.
She's a pretty girl. Pretty girl. She reminds you of kind of like a Filipino Scottish version of Fiona from Shameless. I don't know. It's something about her. So anyway, then we cut to her, and she is a woman who used to be a cop, who now has gotten a job at Boston Hospital where she's working in the morgue on the graveyard shift. Because it turns out she saw her partner get shot. I guess he was killed. They never get into it, and she never did anything. So she has kind of like this PTSD, and she got an addiction to drugs after that and stuff. So then it's more really about her working in the bowels of this place where she's alone, and it's huge. It's cavernous, and she's there for the intake of bodies as they come in. And then lo and behold, here comes a body that was strangled, cut up, and half burned. So it looks like in the movie The Thing, it looks like he was trying to make a girl and got stopped halfway, and then they burned half of it. And then once, of course, that thing is in there, all kinds of creepy stuff starts happening. Here's the deal. The movie is not total crap. It's actually not. It's not poorly made. It kind of has a lot of hints of Autopsy Jane Doe, and I found that it was being made around the same time that was being made.
All right.
So it's an okay date movie. I think if I was in my teens or even early 20s and I took a date to it, there are a couple of moments she'd grab my arm and we'd have a good time. So I can't really crap all over it. It's nothing. It doesn't blow your doors off. It's not like a warm fish salad that will blow your balls off. That's Impractical Jokers. Anyway,
I was like, what?
If you ever saw that show, I for an entire summer, everywhere I went for restaurants, I ordered the warm fish salad. They'd be like, what? I said, yeah, I heard it blows your balls off. Took me a whole summer before somebody actually knew what I was talking about.
Wow, that's obscure, man.
That's what I'm all about. So anyway, if you've got nothing to do, maybe it'll come on Amazon Prime or Netflix eventually. It's worth a watch because it doesn't focus so much on the possession part. It's more like a monster movie. Because if you like watching a naked girl walk backwards, spiderly thing and do some crazy X-Men shit, it's kind of cool.
So the title more set you up in a direction it didn't actually go.
Yeah, I thought it'd be one of these things. Oh, okay, we're gonna watch her play with a Ouija board, and she's gonna get possessed, and it's gonna be an exorcism. But it was just like, no,
Right.
This is a body of a girl that's possessed. So it was cool.
All right,
Shocked
good.
me.
Jack, what do you got?
I watched a found footage movie called Jerusalem. With
Oh,
a
I've had that on my
Z.
queue forever.
That came out a couple years ago.
It did.
Yeah, I watched that a while ago.
A friend of mine suggested, he texted me and said, "Hey, have you seen this one yet?" I was like, "No." So I popped it on. The number one reason to watch this movie is because it's filmed on Google Glass. Remember those
Mhm.
Get
goofy?
the F out of here.
It is. So, and I remember I put one of the Hunter, a guy you and I know, used to
Yeah.
wear those things all the time.
Yep.
And I played with his once at a bar, and they were ridiculous. So this girl, her and her friend go to Jerusalem for vacation. They meet a guy on the plane. He's kind of like an archaeologist kind of guy or something. They decide to go with him. Actually, they were going to Tel Aviv, and then they decide to go with him to Jerusalem. When they get there, they meet another guy who runs a hostel. And then the long and short of it is kind of there's a gate to hell in Jerusalem, and they happen to get there right around the time where it kind of blows open. So it's kind of a zombie movie, but the zombies are like demons. Like they have these like leathery wings that pop out.
Okay.
And
So these are Christian demons then.
well, no, because they actually reference Judaism and Islam as well. So,
All right.
and it's
Kudos
actually
for
in a
that.
place where there's like all three religions have like bastions right next to each other.
Right.
So they're kind of non-denominational demons.
Make up your mind, you demon.
When you first say it's a found footage movie, you know you have to like lower the bar on what you're watching.
Oh,
Then once you're in that genre and you're ready for it, this is above average for it's definitely worth a watch. Check it out.
even
It's
shot on Google Glass, it's above average.
the Google Glass part is also makes it just that's not me this time. Who's got a horn?
No, that's somebody trying to steal my car. It's okay. They can have it.
Get out of here, you rotten kids. The Google. So the number one, the girl who has the Google Glass hardly ever takes them off. She does take them off once and is hooking up with this guy, and they're on the table, pointing right at them, so you see it. That was
Did they
convenient.
finally show people having sex in a
They
found
did.
footage movie? I've been waiting for that.
They did with Google Glass, and the Google Glass has a like a facial recognition thing on it, and so that's cool because it's trying to spot zombies and it can't identify them, and something kind of cool happens with that.
I forgot about that. It's been a while.
Yeah, so that aspect, but it also is a good way of explaining why somebody would keep filming because they're just wearing.
Yeah, I thought it was a cut above too. I remember enjoying that movie.
All right,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys
So
convinced me. I'm gonna watch this thing now.
it's definitely worth a watch. Like it's a good. You're looking for something to watch one night.
It's not high art, but it's fun.
It's definitely not high art, and the ending is kind of funny.
Weren't there huge demons in it, like in the background too, like
Yes,
5-story demons? And
There's
stuff?
like a Cloverfield one that kind of goes by at one point. You're like, what? And there's like Air Force jets and stuff like that. It goes bonkers. It takes its time.
Sci-fi movie? Was it like a sci-fi channel movie?
It's a step above a sci-fi movie.
Okay.
And luckily, the girl who's not filming it is very easy on the eyes, and she's the one usually talking to her friend who's filming it.
Gotcha.
So your guide through this is usually this purdy blonde girl.
Giggity.
When I was getting the links, I saw it was free on Prime too. So
yeah, definitely check it out. It's worth it.
All right. I finally got around to watching The Domestics, which came out last year with Kate Bosworth. You guys remember when this dropped? It's like a post-apocalyptic movie.
Oh, yeah.
Your reaction was mine when it popped up for me. I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about this movie. So I finally checked it out. This is kind of a weird one to describe. I liked it, but while I'm watching, I'm like, man, this is so all over the place and ridiculous. It's kind of like a exploitation B movie from the 80s, but made today with a big budget. So it's Kate Bosworth and her husband are in this post-apocalyptic world where almost everyone's dead, and the people who are alive are just in gangs now. But the gangs, it's weird. You're watching one gang, they're all killer clowns or something like that. One gang, they're
it's the Warriors.
Yes, exactly. It's the Warriors, but maybe even more ridiculous. one group are the gamblers, and before they shoot you or try to kill you, they spin a wheel to see what happens. And one group, they're all wearing animal heads. It's just so preposterous.
This is
sounds
all
like
of the
Typical
walking,
Kate Bosworth crap. She's always picks crap movies. It's amazing.
The Walking Dead kind of does this too. We're the whisperers and we're the saviors. Everybody's got a name. They just need to start putting on the.
It's like during the. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
Oh, good.
You say it's like in the apocalypse, everyone turns into a pro wrestling group for some reason.
Well, they want to reenact West Side Story.
Yeah. So basically, they are driving across. Was it Michigan, Wisconsin? I can't remember, but they're trying to drive to her parents to see if they're still alive because they lost contact with them. And to do so, they have to drive through the territories of all these different groups. So every 5 to 10 minutes, they run into a new group who's trying to kill them or enslave them or eat them or have sex with them, or it's just nonstop.
Do the clowns have like little cars that they chase them in?
I mean, it's one of these things where I'm watching it, and this is coming from a guy whose last book had 4 new groups introduced in one book. Okay, I understand putting too much shit in one book. I do it myself. This thing is just nonstop cramming as much crap. It felt like it was supposed to be a series, and whoever was trying to sell this series couldn't do it, so he condensed it into a movie and got it made. That's what it felt like.
That very much could be what happened.
Having said all this, it was fun. I enjoyed watching it. It's ridiculous. It's too much, and I kind of liked it. So it was a fun movie. If you like watching old cheesy 80s stuff and you want to see that made today with a bigger budget and bigger actors, it's kind of your jam. It was fun.
Is it on Prime or Shudder?
No, it's very expensive. I think you have to buy it still. I don't think you can even rent it.
Oh,
so I would wait. It's definitely not worth $15, but it's a fun movie.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Hunter.
Oh, well, my second thing is actually a book. And this is a tie into Monster Men.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I got an advanced copy of J.H. Moncrief's latest book in her Ghostwriters series, Forest of Ghosts.
She's a great writer.
I don't begrudge her for stealing Forest of Shadows. That's fine.
I'm sure that's what she did.
Totally.
Encroaching on your territory.
Yep. So the tie-in is that Jack and I are going to have her on our show next, because this book takes place in Romania. So Jackson Stone, who is the non-psychic medium part of this relationship with, what's her name? Kate Carlson. So it starts out with Jackson. He's alone. He's him and Kate are on a break. I kept thinking, we're on a break. But he went to this writer's retreat in Romania. And while he's at the retreat, of course, they're staying at this little kind of like somebody's home, and there's a creepy guy who is, he owns the place, and something's kind of up with him. And one of the people in one of the writers disappears, and then Jackson, who just wanted to have a break from all this nonsense, is now dragged into more intrigue and the paranormal, and has to get Kate to come all the way from Vermont to Romania to help out. I got to tell you, man, I've read the first 3 books, and I like the way these characters are progressing. They're not perfect. One thing that Moncrief does, she got great dialogue. She's just one of those writers where I can just read her stuff and it just flows. Like I finished this book in literally a day and a half.
Wow.
So it's a solid book. I'm telling everybody to pre-order it. Well, I think it comes out later in this week. But the cool thing is when you read it, because she travels. So this is based on her actual traveling with a writing group to Romania, and she went to the haunted forest. So that's what we're gonna grill her on. Jack is talking about the haunted forest.
I can't wait, because when we talked to her about Pavilia Island, that was like the most interesting show we've ever done. So I can't wait to hear.
I tell people you should follow these books, because these books are all about, she just takes the places that she's been to, the haunted paranormal places, and then she puts them in these books with these 2 characters, and it's home run every time. She is phenomenal.
I'm trying to remember how many of those books I read in that series, 2 or 3, but yeah, she's just a great writer.
Yep.
And yeah, I didn't know she's doing another one in that series, so good for her.
Forest of Ghosts.
Did you say that was part 4 or 5?
4.
That's hard to get to book 4 in a series. That's tough.
Yeah. It's if you like, it's for people who like the paranormal. It's got a bit of romance in there. If travelogue kind of stuff. If you like suspense, I mean, it's a lot. So it has a wide appeal.
Pina coladas, getting caught in the rain. It's got everything.
Searching for my lost shaker song.
What do you got, Jack?
I watched, to continue the 1970s vampire streak.
Nice.
It was originally supposed to come out on 1973, but it was the night, it's a TV movie. It was the night that Nixon resigned. So it got preempted and moved to 1974. It used to be called Bram Stoker's Dracula, but then Francis Ford Coppola got the rights to that. So now it is pretty much referred to as Dan Curtis's Dracula, but most people know it as Jack Palance Dracula.
Oh, that's how I know it.
Very nice.
Now I saw this, I think probably the night that it aired as a kid. If not,
I've seen it since.
I've seen a rerun. I saw it once since 10 years ago, maybe. I think early Monster Men, I think I watched it, but had very vague, been circling it to revisit it. And man, am I glad I did, because a few things. Number one, Richard Matheson wrote this.
And that's a heavy hitter right there.
Yeah.
And Dan Curtis is involved. So
Dan Curtis, who did
Huge.
Dark Shadows, he did the Night Stalker. Look at his body of work. And when you watch it, Hunter, you'll know this. As a Night Stalker fan, there are certain musical cues or things they do with the camera that are very reminiscent of the Night Stalker. Also, I think because it was, first of all, the 70s had great TV movies.
They did.
And this is one of them. This is a very, very good adaptation of Dracula, and it's closer to the books than either Lugosi or Christopher Lee. And I had heard a podcast where somebody had talked about this once. This is actually the first movie pretty much to have Dracula portrayed as the warlord, the real Dracula, as well as the vampire. The Lugosi and Christopher Lee never really talk about the historical Dracula. It's just the vampire. This one flat out references, this is the Vlad the Impaler. It also is the one that introduced the idea of his love has been reincarnated in modern times, and that's what his obsession is. Coppola borrowed that as well, and Fright Night did it. Everything. This is where like that started. So if you watch it, it's got some 70s aesthetics to it. It's got some made-for-TV aesthetics to it. But as far as an adaptation of Dracula, this is definitely worth a watch just for historical purposes, the firepower behind it. Also, though, Jack Palance is a very underrated Dracula.
I was going to ask because I don't remember. How is he as Dracula?
He's actually very angry and mean, which is how he should be. Except that he does have that kind of like Shatner and Adam West have their, and Christopher Walken.
Yes.
He's just got that Jack Palance. No.
Yeah.
The guy.
I felt like saying, get that guy some nose spray.
There's a great scene where like the Van Helsing comes in, he's got a cross, but he's got the girl there, and the guy he cannot look at a cross. It's vile to him. I love that. He's just like, throw it away. Throw it away. So it's like great, but it's also Palancy at the same time.
Right.
So you're admiring his work while also laughing at it at the same time. So
that's Adam West, William Shatner. You put him in good category right there.
Yeah. So he's
Bruce
a good
Campbell.
Dracula. Yeah. And he's a giant man. So if you saw a guy that size with fangs, you probably would lose your.
Let me tell you, if I saw just Jack Palance, I'd be shitting nickels. He's a scary dude.
Can you make change for $1? Yep.
Ding, 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 ding. Yep.
So I would say go check this out, and I think it's on Prime or Shudder.
All right, Prime. I saw it. I got the link on Prime in the show notes. I honestly don't think I've ever seen it. I think I've only seen clips of it as Palance's portrayal and everything, but I don't know that I've ever actually seen the whole movie. I have to watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
I'm curious. So, all right. You're continuing with your 70s vampire thing. I'm continuing with my Friday the 13th escapades here.
Nice.
I watched Friday the 13th Part 3. This movie's not good.
No, it isn't.
I had, like the others, I have not seen it in so long. This is bad. Like, this is not good. That the thing is, there's still fun stuff in it. Some of the kills are amazing. He squeezes a guy's head till his eye pops out. Cuts a guy in half from the crotch down, I guess, because the guy's doing a handstand. Like, there's a bunch of fun kills, but man, it is not a well-made movie in any stretch of the imagination. It was probably halfway through when I said to my wife, who was not pleased about watching the movie, it seems like if whatever it is in the scene is not on camera, it does not exist. So the guys will be talking about the girls in sexual ways, and then the camera pans over 2 feet, and the girls are standing right there, but they didn't hear them. Some people are in the barn, and they're in the horse stalls, and they hear a sound in the next stall over, and they have to walk around over to the next stall, even though it's just wood slats with giant spaces in them. It's like, it's not in the frame, so they can't see it. They have to walk over. It's just...
Now you figured it out.
It's really poorly made.
You know what, though? It gave us The Mask.
Yes.
It gave us
is great.
the dorky kid who's faking his death all the time, which is fun. There were some boobs in it.
He's another one. That character's so bad that it's so memorable. Like, you'll never forget that guy because he's awful.
There's a lot of people, that's their favorite character in the entire series.
It's insane because he's the worst. He's
so fucking annoying.
He's so annoying. Why would anybody be friends with him?
I think Hunter can agree with me. I saw this in the theater in 3D.
Me too.
And it is one of the, I would say, top 5 in movie theater experiences of my life. The theater was going crazy.
Bananas.
I high-fived my friend who was 5 rows behind me after one of the kills. He just stood up and goes, "Jackie, baby!" And I stood up. We high-fived each other over people. It was just...
Yeah, people cannot fathom what these movies were like in the movie theater. Like, it was bedlam. It was,
and the fact that it was 3D, so it's great because I saw this movie a couple of years ago. So we had it on in the office, so I was just like walking by, and I'm like, "Oh, you got Friday the 13th?" And I kind of go, "Oh, that's right, this was in 3D," because of like what you said, like the eyeball coming out or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to go back and watch that.
I'm so glad you said that because I kept saying, so the 3D, it has to be mentioned, is the worst incarnation of 3D in a movie ever. There's just so many poor shots where a scene starts and these kids are playing baseball and this kid's holding the baseball bat sideways and backwards so it can be in front of the camera. Like, what in the hell? Like, just so much poor 3D work.
But at the time, we thought it was great.
Well, I'd said to her, I bet when you watch this in the theater, it was fun because of all this ridiculous stuff flying at the screen all the time. But you watch it 2D 30 years later, man, it's bad.
Yeah, I think it was the only 3D movie that the first I saw in a theater, because anything other than that was TV 3D, which was always The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
It makes me wish I had a 3D TV so I could check it out to see if I could get a version. But wow, in 2D, it's just goofy.
What came out first, this or Jaws 3D? Probably this.
This did, because this was like 81.
Okay,
I'm right. I have a DVD that has the 3D copy with the red and blue glasses.
Oh, nice.
Does it work?
It works as badly as it did in the movies.
Oh, okay.
We should do that one night. I'm going to come over. We should do that.
I think it does have 2 pairs. So
just to have your daughter take a picture of the 2 of us idiots with like scotch in our hand and 3D glasses.
Watching Friday the 13th 3.
Yeah, why not?
So anyway, it's a very, very poorly made movie, but there's so much iconic stuff in it that it's fun to watch. The Mask. Finally, Jason is this huge lumbering monstrosity that is scary. I think I said last week, the guy in the cloth mask and the sack,
right?
Anybody could beat the shit out of that guy. He was like $110. Like, who cares? But this Jason, he smashes through doors, and so it was fun. It wasn't good, but it was fun to revisit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have anything?
Nope.
All right. Nope. Let me do Friday the 13th Part 4 then, because I watched that too.
Oh, it's what some will call the best in the series.
Much, much better made movie. I didn't look up who directed it, but just a way, way better job. Jason is getting stronger, more badass. He's taking more damage. The introduction of one of the Coreys, which is fun. It's just a good movie. The kills aren't as extravagant.
Is this the Tommy Jarvis one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Die.
Exactly.
That also was one of the great moments in a movie theater because everybody just lost their minds.
Yes.
Because somebody finally did what everybody... I'm jumping to the end, sorry.
Sorry.
But
Spoiler.
everybody just went crazy. Like people
Yeah.
were standing up and just cheering.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It really is. I would say, is this the best one? I don't know. This or one so far from me going back through it. I probably would say one is a slightly better movie, but I don't think it's as entertaining as 4. I really enjoyed 4. It was such a step up from 3. I mean, anything would have made me happy. But
You're
Jason
going to
was
go
badass.
over the precipice with 5.
Yeah,
But then you're going to lift back up with 6.
I'm trying to prepare my wife for the journey we're about to go on because shit gets crazy from here on out.
Yeah.
But it was they just keep introducing characters in this movie. I mean, it's just nonstop. There's a character, and then he just starts murdering everyone. Just boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we get to the part with the Corey cutting his hair off, my wife is like, what in God's name is he doing? Because Jason's chasing his sister, who's the most badass final girl in a movie I've seen in a while. She's jumping out of windows and hitting him with machetes, and she is going for it. And the whole time she's doing this, we're watching intercut this little kid just cutting his hair in front of a mirror.
He's trying to make himself look like Jason because he'd seen the first movie.
But she didn't know what he was doing. So she's watching like, what is this? This is so stupid. So
yeah.
It was fun. It was we hit the low point in the series so far, and then we hit probably the high point back to back. So
you will look back at 3 adoringly as you go further in.
It's got fun stuff. I'm looking forward to what she thinks once we start hitting 8. When he takes Manhattan. No.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
From the boat that goes from the lake to New York City somehow.
Yeah.
So anyway,
straight through.
You guys ready to talk some Suspiria?
Let's
stop the Suspiria suspense.
We'll be right back.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Can you say that word again?
Suspiria suspense?
Suspiria suspense. That was very nice.
Yeah.
Jack, could you synopsize this for us, please?
In 4 words or less.
Dakota Johnson dances with witches.
I like it.
I'll take it.
5, but whatever.
That was pretty good. We'll give him
Chloe Moretz starts off the movie going to her psychiatrist because she feels like the dance studio that she belongs, dance troupe, might be run by witches, and something is trying to get inside of her, she says.
Yeah.
Now,
you
could take any guy outside of the dance studio.
Although I didn't know that was her in the beginning.
Then Dakota Johnson shows up as the Ohio farm girl who wants to join the dance troupe. Tilda Swinton is like Madame Blanc, who runs the place. Madame Blanc. And they're witches. And that's about the summary of it.
There you go.
Very nice. Very nice. What did you think of it, Jack?
Well, I already told you guys what I thought of this. I'm kind of middle of the road on this. I thought there was some really great stuff in this and a lot of weird stuff that I was like, what the hell is going on here? And I thought maybe there's like an hour and a half good movie inside a 2.5 hour movie. So I'm kind of in the middle on this. There's going to be parts of this that I thought were really good and other parts I thought were really stupid or not well executed. But I did discover that the copy that I had seen does not have subtitles. And I guess you guys saw one with subtitles.
Yes, we did.
A lot of subtitles.
Which explains why I didn't get a lot of this movie. And so I'm watching like the people explainer videos on it. I'm like, how the frick would you know that?
Like half the movie is subtitled.
So
literally.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
So I'll have to catch it again sometime with subtitles. But I did watch it again without subtitles, and I picked up stuff the second time around.
Your German was a little better.
Well, for instance, there's 3 mothers in this movie.
Uh-huh.
The mother of sighs, the mother of darkness, and the mother of tears are the 3 mothers. And the mother of sighs is Suspirium or something like that.
Suspiriorum, yeah.
I noticed some sighing going on in the movie that in my first watch I didn't notice. I was like, oh, they're playing with the size here and stuff like that. So,
boy,
that's where I am.
Hunter?
That is so funny. Well, as we all know, this is a remake of a quote-unquote classic from Dario Argento. Look, I'm the guy who wrote an article in Cemetery Dance how stupid Italian movies are. So maybe I'm not the best person to judge this. But I will say, for the first half an hour, I was really on board with it. I'm thinking, man, this is really good. It's solid. And then I'm like, I hope they just don't slide into style over substance. And then slide they did, as I knew they would. And when it was all said and done, I said, well, this makes about as much sense as I thought it would make. And it's so freaking long.
Yes.
Oh, my God. It just went on forever. Every time I looked at the watch, it kept going, is there another hour? Like, it seemed like I was stuck in time for half a day. Look, I will say some really strong performances. Probably the best thing I've ever seen Dakota Johnson do.
Yeah.
And poor girl, she's got to get naked in everything she does. I feel sorry for her.
Shut up. What are
She
you
needs a better
complaining
agent.
about?
I know that looked good. And it also, did you guys recognize Mia Goth in that movie?
Yeah, definitely.
Who was in The Cure for Wellness? So Mia Goth alone has taken up 5 hours of my life in just 2 movies.
Sharp Object. She's great in that.
She's a strange girl. She looks like she's about 9 years old. But again, this is, I think it was, I agree with you, Jack. It seems like a good hour and a half movie, but because they got to throw in all their style points in there and make it a spaghetti horror movie, then you get what you get. So I've now seen both of them. Dear God, don't make a third. If you do, wait till I'm dead and let's just put this one to bed.
All right. I absolutely loved this movie. It shocked the hell out of me.
Wow.
Because I didn't even want to watch it. When you recommended it, it was like, oh, God, it's 2.5 hours long. Like, Jesus Christ. I didn't really care for the first one. I know that's sacrilegious, but I never felt like the first one had a story that like it just was, it looked good. But, you know, I don't know. I'm also not the guy to talk to about Italian horror films. I never got into them. I kind of feel like I should revisit them now that I'm older. Maybe I'd appreciate them, but I have a feeling I wouldn't.
You won't. I've tried.
The original Suspiria, to me, is not an all-time great movie. I revisited it a couple of months ago and was just like, boy, this is a really silly, schlocky. It was more fun to just watch it in a nostalgic way, and I don't need to watch it again ever, or not for another 10 years, or like if I'm at your house and we're drinking and we have 3D glasses on.
I will give this movie credit. It's better made.
I think so too.
It's much more capably made. There are some brilliant scenes in this movie. It's just
look, my friend was like fast forwarding through it one day, and he goes, dude, I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch this, but I kind of just jumped around a little bit. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in that movie, huh?
Yep.
The weirder it is, the less sense it makes. But
I didn't have any trouble when the movie ended. I got it. Up till the ending, though, I was not quite sure on certain things, but then it kind of all clicked at the end. But anyway, like I was saying, I like this significantly more than the original. I thought it was, I mean, technically it's a remake, but first of all, there's a story to this, which automatically makes it different. Everything that made the original big, they kind of inverted in this. So this one didn't have the crazy color palette and all that nonsense. I don't want to say nonsense. That's what people love. The
guy said it wasn't a remake. He said it was like a cover version of it. It's a different interpretation.
This one was more about the witches than it was about the girl.
Yeah. So it didn't have the colors. The sound was entirely different. The performances were astounding in this. I don't think I've ever actually seen Dakota Johnson in anything because I haven't seen the 50 Shades movies.
Watch the El Royale movie. She's really good in that.
Okay, see, I have yet to see that. So this, as far as I know, is at least the first one I recognized her in. She is amazing in this. I mean, she's got some chops. I kind of assumed, this is the 50 Shades girl. You know, she's good. The dancing performances, great.
You can't sleep on her because if you judge her on 50 Shades, you're not seeing everything she's got. She's got,
No.
well, you see everything she's got, but you don't see everything
Yeah.
she's got.
And you got Tilda Swinton, who was never not great.
So
yeah,
let's.
I want to talk about her when we get to her.
Yeah.
I'm done with my little I loved it spiel. Now I get to pump it up for the
So,
rest of the time. But
what did you
Tilda
think
Swinton,
of Tilda taking on multiple roles?
I didn't know it was her until afterwards. I looked the movie up, and it blew me away. Now I did notice the old man makeup was off. I didn't understand why they took a guy and made him look older than he is. Why not just cast an old man? When I found out it was her, it blew me away. I had no clue.
Yeah, I knew it was her the second I saw her.
I did too.
And it distracted me the whole time. And somebody said it. She looked like the Great Adventure old guy.
But her voice was her voice.
It was her voice, and that distracted me. I was like, why didn't they just get a regular guy to play this?
Because I'm thinking old men don't get higher voices. Their balls keep dropping, and that voice gets old and gravelly.
Yeah. So for me, I was always like,
Those two
oh,
tied together.
I'm watching Tilda Swinton play one of the Muppet guys up in the balcony.
What did you think of her and her old man naked bodysuit with her tiny little penis?
Yeah, that was great.
Nothing like naked old man prosthetics.
Yeah.
I also, the other part might be a spoiler. Maybe we'll
Do
talk
we even
about it
need
later.
that character? There's where you could cut your half hour out of this movie. Is you almost don't even need that character.
I
So-
think it took away from the whole movie.
The old
but-
man?
Yeah.
I liked the old man a lot, primarily because of a scene in the end that really shows how
It
good
was
of an
totally
actress.
miscast. Totally miscast. Oh, I'm sorry. That was you last week.
That was me last week. But no, I do want to talk about two things that I really did not like about this movie. The runtime didn't bother me as much as I thought, but I kept thinking, if you cut all this crap out about the terrorism and all the shit in the background and the police, and you could cut a half an hour out of this movie and make it much more palatable to everyone else. Like, I know I'm a weird guy who likes artsy movies, so my opinion isn't exactly the same. Like, I wouldn't tell my dad to watch this,
Right.
So if they'd cut out that part alone, it would have made it so much more palatable.
It didn't affect the story.
No, I get that he wanted to do a backdrop to everything, but I just didn't think it was necessary.
You could have much easier and quicker ways to set the tone for Berlin at the time. This is Berlin in the 70s.
Well, I mean, the freaking Berlin Wall is in the center of the whole goddamn movie. So, like, just seeing that, I automatically get a feel for what's happening in the background. You don't need to explicitly show it and keep, talking about it.
You can have a riot pass by, but there was too much. But it didn't do anything to advance the story.
Yeah, I did not like that. I thought having the wall was great. I thought, I didn't understand the rest of that. It's too much.
Like, I would trade the old psychiatrist for more on the weird-looking witch who put the knife in her throat.
Yes.
Like, that's one of them. I wanted to explore her. And other than looking strange, what was going on with her?
Well,
yes,
imagine if you couldn't read what they were saying. Put yourself in my shoes.
Well, she never really spoke, so you didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
But
this did have some of the most shocking scenes, primarily because it just took me off guard. Some of the violence, when it happens, is crazy violent. I did not expect it at all.
the final 10 minutes, you're like, what the hell?
Should we just shoot up the spoiler flare and get into this?
Yeah, earmuffs, kids.
Okay, if you haven't seen this, we're all saying watch it if you want, but
I'm saying this would have made my list last year had I actually been able to see it. Had they not screwed up the release, this 100% would have made my top 13 list.
This is a movie that had scenes that I'll never forget, so I will give it credit for that.
It definitely does.
Took too much of my life.
All right,
yeah, I didn't hate this movie. I kind of like I watched it. I was like, hey, some cool stuff. I'll probably watch it again down the road somewhere, but like I would not have made my top list.
Then again, you watched it the way Hunter watches most movies, not understanding anything. All right, spoiler flag. So the other thing I didn't like, one of my two complaints, length, and the other is that we have this amazing ending with this crazy violence and exploding heads and a demon walking around murdering people. And it's
she was Dr. Manhattaning people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm watching this like, this is amazing. I love this, except it's in this weird post-processing slow motion shit.
I effing hated that.
Oh my God, it ruined the entire freaking scene. I could not stand it.
It went to art school, like film school thesis project level of filmmaking.
I didn't know if maybe they didn't have the money to make the effects look good, so he did. I don't know what happened there, but God, I felt like that was a scene I would have been showing my friends every time they come down. You've got to see the end of Suspiria. And now it's like, I don't want to show anybody that. It looks like shit.
Yeah, it looks like something that Michael Scott would make on The Office when he makes a video.
I'm sorry, I had to get my little rant in there.
I will say,
I don't think I hated that scene as much as you guys did. Because it was so nutty.
But the choice of how to show that was just you couldn't have made a worse choice if you tried.
Yeah.
I do think that the two best scenes in this whole movie involve the dancing.
Yes.
So the one where Dakota Johnson is doing her dance, and then the girl is downstairs in the mirror room, and her body's being flipped around and contorted based on the dance. I thought that was jaw dropping.
Yeah, that was great.
Good.
Yeah. It actually made me kind of judge the first movie a little bit, how great the dancing was in this, and the fact that the dancing is how they cast their spells. How was that not in the first movie? That's so brilliant. I was like, holy shit.
Dario just said, I wanted to look red.
I thought it was so great. And the way they did the choreography, it didn't look kind of like a ballet dancing. It was visceral and primal.
Tribal.
Yes, tribal. Yeah. That's a great word for it. And it really added to the intensity of what they were intercutting, the violence and stuff. I just thought that was amazing. I loved it.
And I even liked the dance scene where they were doing the final, whatever that thing was.
Of course you did. They were all naked.
For the last time.
Well, I like when Mia Goth goes down and she finds the girls who you think are dead, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's running away, and I think the witches do something to like create holes or something, and she breaks her legs.
Yes.
Then they like heal her leg and put her in a trance, and she's like a puppet. And in there now in that scene, they're trying to cast a spell on Dakota Johnson in that.
Mm-hmm.
But then Dakota Johnson like screws up or something. She stops the dance.
They said that. I'm like, I don't know. Where did she screw up? But I'm not.
She didn't do all the steps right. So the spell wasn't completed. So they said they'd have to do it again.
Oh, there we go.
But that whole scene is awesome. From when they go down, when she goes down and she finds Chloe and the other girl. And then that whole, the energy, the sound, the camera work, and that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yep.
And Dakota Johnson is carrying all of these dance numbers.
Yep. I don't know if she has a dance background. I don't know shit about dance, but it looked great. I mean,
that girl is limber.
She trained like mad for this.
She was amazing.
One of the bigger things that bothered me is the transition from her as Amish girl who came from Ohio to demon witch mother. Like, where was that? Where did that happen?
You know, having seen it twice now, you can sort of see her. There comes a point where in a movie where you're like, it feels like you can kind of sense her dual, like her subtle, where she's playing them a little bit. But I think at the beginning, when she does that first dance that contorts the other person, Tilda Swinton like holds her hands and puts like pressure on it, and you see like white.
Yeah,
and it feels like she's doing the spell there.
Yes, she's the one who did the spell that twisted the girl up like a pretzel. She did that.
Then it seems like there's a point like later on in the movie where Dakota Johnson sort of turns the tables on her on some, I forget exactly when, but I think it's hard to tell specifically where, but towards the end I started to go, oh yeah, I can see it now.
To me, it just felt like they just said, yeah, let's just make her the bad guy.
No, so even right at the beginning when they're talking to her mother who's on her deathbed.
Yeah.
And they said something about Dakota Johnson's character, who I'm just going to call her Dakota Johnson. I can't think of her name.
I think it's like
Sarah?
Susie, isn't it?
Susie, Sarah. I'll find out.
Sure. But the mother says that her daughter is her greatest sin. Giving birth to her was her greatest sin. So she was always at least a little bit of both. And even when she was a kid, she was drawing Germany. They were supposed to be going. Yeah. So she was always a bit of both. I think the question that's not answered clearly on purpose is, when does she change more over from the American, girl from the middle of nowhere to the demon mother witch thing?
Like, did she always know, even as a kid, looking at stuff in Germany, did she always know that that's where she would go?
It seemed like it, yeah. Yeah, like that was something was pulling her there her entire life.
I think something was pulling her there, but I don't think she was full blown demon until halfway through the movie.
Think so. That was my interpretation of it. That everything that happened to her there fully pulled it out of her. But she was like always destined to go there and do this.
But then again, what the hell do I know? Because
You know, it's Italian horror. They don't have to explain too much.
Yeah, I've as I was watching this, I kept thinking, man, I am so in love with this movie, and I have a feeling a lot of people really freaking hate it. But when I looked it up, it's gotten more love than when it first came out recently. So I'll be curious if this is one of those movies in 5 years, if people turn on it, or if they hold it up as kind of a
people who are holding it up as like the best movie of the year, I don't get at all. I
know.
I kind of get it, but I don't agree with them at all. People who hate this, I kind of get it as well, but I think it's almost getting too much attention. Like it's like I think it's just an okay movie.
I think if they cut a half an hour out of it, and if they fixed that freaking horrible shutter speed nonsense or whatever the hell it was at the end, just showed all those gruesome deaths, this would have been held up as one of the best movies of last year. For me, anyway. It definitely would have made my top 5 easily. But yeah, it's just a little long, and God, what was he doing at the end? It just drove me crazy because I wanted to see that. When that demon came up the stairs, I was like, oh shit, this is taking a turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
That was a great last 10 minutes.
I'd like to watch it again like you did, Jack.
I disagree though. I that ending scene with the blowing up, that camera work didn't bother me as much as you guys. To me, I would tell people you should watch the movie for that scene. And maybe it is a little distracting with the way that they could have done it better. But still, you've got witches grinding and the trance dance thing and heads exploding and a demon. So for me, like I was very happy to get to that part a second time and watch Dakota Johnson and the way she's doing it. So for me, I would say it was one of my favorite parts of the movie, rather than being something I hated like you guys.
It was one of my favorite parts too. I just hated that I couldn't see it. That's
we hated the execution.
It looked like something I shot in college, and then I was like, oh, this would look cooler in slow motion, and you slow it down, it looks like dog shit.
Yep.
That's what it looked like to me, and I don't know why.
But it's still a banana scene.
It is.
It's crazy. I did like when they lifted Tilda Swinton's head up later.
She's alive.
She's like, hello.
And then her head, like the woman picks her up when she realizes she's alive, and her head flops twice.
It's like,
if she's not dead, you're gonna kill her if you keep screwing with her.
Yeah, exactly. Get some duct tape.
How about the mother of? I don't know which mother was it? The old grotesque woman with pus shooting out of her, and
that was also Tilda Swinton.
But what was the name of the character?
That was Mother Marcos.
Marcos.
What a cool design with the little hands coming out of her body in different angles.
Hands
and stuff.
Hanging out of the arms were really gross.
Yeah, that was great looking.
See,
makeup.
That you could also tell was Tilda Swinton, and that didn't bother me. The old man Tilda Swinton, I sweat, like that's my least favorite part of this whole movie.
Yeah, I had no idea either one of them were until afterwards. Totally,
I didn't know she was. I just learned now she was Marcos.
Yeah. And you know how the old man has the hallucination of his wife, and it leads him back to the dance troupe.
Mm-hmm.
That woman is the woman from the original Suspiria movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the main character. Yeah,
right.
Can't think of her name. Yeah. So the old man thing. It did kind of irk me throughout the movie too, because it kept taking away from the coven. But I think the reason I ended up liking that story is the end when Dakota Johnson's character tells him what happened to his wife. And I don't know how Tilda Swinton did it with all that makeup on, but the emotion she was able to show through at hearing that news, I thought was just astounding. And I ended up really enjoying that scene. Not enjoying, that's not the right word. Liking that scene.
Yeah, I never bought that I was watching anything other than Tilda Swinton in makeup because of the voice.
Yeah, see, I think if I'd known that, I'd probably be where you were, but I had no clue. I thought it was just bad makeup on a dude.
I didn't like the fact she didn't change her voice, but I still was thoroughly blown away by her performance.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton is tremendous.
She's a treasure, man. She is so good. Wow. So, anyway.
Wasn't she in Snowpiercer?
Yes.
Yes, she's amazing in that too.
Yep.
Yeah, she makes that dude put his arm outside the train.
Oh, yes.
And she's the Ancient One in Doctor Strange. Yep. She's in that movie with George Clooney where they're all lawyers. Like she's just anything she's in, she is like
she's a force.
Chameleon.
Yeah. She's astounding. She really is. She and Dakota Johnson carry this movie.
You ever see Only Lovers Left Alive or something like that? The vampire movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a weird movie, but her and Tom Hiddleston are great in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
She's one of those can't miss actors.
She really is. And now I've got Dakota Johnson on my radar because she really surprised me.
If you watch Trainwreck with Amy Schumer,
yeah,
Tilda Swinton is like the woman who runs the fashion magazine she works for.
Yes.
And she's like all dolled up and sexy. And like it took me a while to realize, I'm like, oh my God, is that Tilda Swinton?
Right. I liked her long hair in this movie.
She's great as Madame Blanc, Madre, whatever. She is mesmerizing. And when she's doing the things like where she's putting this, rubbing her hands and talking to her about the dance, I mean, this woman was born to play a witch. Like, like
I said, you just cut out 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Add a little more witch stuff, and you have probably one of the best movies made in years.
Yeah.
Her reaction to Dakota Johnson's dancing throughout the first, half is really what sells you on the fact that there's something weird here. There's not really much said about it. It's just every time she starts dancing and Swinton's facial reactions, her visceral reaction to it is
she's falling in love.
Yeah, it's it really sells you on there's something weird happening here that is unexpected. So it's great stuff.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Anything else?
No. Well, now we talked about it. Turns out I didn't hate it as much as I thought when I started.
Yeah, it's okay.
I just needed to talk it out.
It's okay.
I watched it yesterday, hungover from St. Patrick's Day. So this is good. It was just cathartic for me.
That's a long movie to watch hungover.
I wasn't going anywhere.
I'm actually going to watch this a third time, or at least part of it, so I can see the subtitles and see what the hell it is.
Oh, good Christ.
You'll probably be like, oh, okay.
It's a totally different movie.
Oh, I mean, at the beginning alone, what's her name? Kick-Ass is speaking 3 or 4 different languages when she's in the doctor's office.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what the frig is going on in this movie?
Yeah, it's all subtitled.
Who is that dirty girl and what is she saying?
Oh, that is something I did want to mention. There are weird dialogue exchanges in different points of this movie that really stood out. Go ahead.
Don't let me forget the camera work after you say that.
I don't even need to go into it. It's just there would be this weird vulgarity in the middle of nowhere. At one point, Dakota Johnson's talking about how her dance must be what it feels like to bang an animal.
To have sex with an animal, yeah.
Whoa, what?
And I thought I wanna fuck you like an animal. So that was in my head for 10 minutes.
So there was also psychic conversations going on, weren't there?
Yes, at the dinner table. Yeah, at a restaurant. That camera work, you said.
Yeah, so especially at the beginning, they did some zooms.
Mm-hmm. Very 70s-like.
Yeah, it totally gave you a 70s vibe to it. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah, there were a lot of zooms, and it definitely made me think he was trying to do a little bit of a 70s timeless kind of thing. So it was neat. It was good direction.
And my wife did bail because she could not take the witches cackling. She goes, I cannot take their laughter. I said, because they cackle like witches. And she was like, I'm going in the other room. So that drove her out.
All right.
No girl power for her.
So this is a good palate cleanser for me after last week. Ended up being a good choice that I really did not want to watch. So
there we go.
Outstanding.
You're welcome.
What's coming out? There's something big coming out this week, isn't there?
Us.
Yes, I'm assuming we're doing that.
We're not doing that ever, right?
Nah, little movie no one will go see.
We should be contrarian. Just do it like a Puppet Master 4.
I think you do enough of that.
There's so many other horror movies to choose from. I don't know.
In the theaters.
So, us it is for next week. Anything you guys want to throw out? Anything you got coming out, doing?
Dude, I just got these die-cast Hunter's Hellions stickers. So,
ooh.
I'm very excited.
I thought that was a coaster for a second.
It kind of looks like a coaster.
Yeah.
But it's a sticker.
Should have coasters made. That's cool idea.
I got to find a reason to give these away. How about this? If somebody does a review on iTunes, when you're done, hit me up at huntershea1@gmail.com and I will send this to you and a button and some other stuff.
Very nice. You're such a good guy.
I try. I gotta get rid of all this shit.
I have to dump my trash on you. Please help.
Yeah.
Alrighty. That's it. See you guys next week.
Dance on.
See you later, boys.